silence of night, when the world outside fades into shadow and the roads stretch endlessly across forgotten landscapes, the glowing vacancy sign of a roadside motel calls like a beacon to weary travelers. But behind those thin walls, beneath the flickering neon, and within the faded comfort of rooms meant for rest, something ancient, hungry, and unspeakable often stirs. Tonight, as darkness seeps through the cracks and the wind whispers secrets, allow yourself to settle into the unsettling embrace of 3 disturbing motel horror stories. Terrifying bedtime tales, whispered by sinister smiles. The first tale is called The Room with No View. On a rain-soaked evening, a solitary traveler named Mark pulled off the interstate, his headlights cutting through the mist as he searched for shelter. The nearest town was miles away, and night had swallowed the horizon whole. The flickering sign of the Barrow Pines Motel appeared like an apparition. Vacancy. Mark parked, shivering as he dashed through puddles to the office. Inside, the air was stale, heavy with a scent he couldn't place, something sweet, almost rotten. The clerk, an elderly woman with eyes too bright for her wrinkled face, handed him a key with a faded plastic tag. Room 12. Don't open the curtains after midnight, she said, voice trembling. No matter what you hear. Mark nodded, too tired to ask questions. The room was unremarkable. Floral bedspread, cracked wallpaper, and a single window facing a dense patch of woods. He tossed his bag onto the bed and, as exhaustion weighed on him, drifted into a fitful sleep. At 12:03 a.m., Mark woke abruptly. The air was colder, and the room felt somehow smaller. From the window, a low, rhythmic thumping echoed, soft, then louder, as if something was dragging itself through the wet leaves outside. He remembered the clerk's warning, but curiosity gnawed at him. He approached the window, peering through the thin curtain. The woods were impossibly dark, but just beyond the glass, he saw movement, a pale, elongated hand pressed against the window pane, fingers splayed and trembling. Behind it, a face, gaunt, lips stretched in a grin too wide, eyes shining with a feverish hunger. Mark stumbled backward, heart pounding as the thing outside whispered his name. The window rattled, the thumping louder now, and he realized the curtain had begun to move on its own, pulled by some invisible force. He clamped his eyes shut, curling into a ball on the bed, praying for morning, but the voice came closer, more insistent. "Let me in. I'm so lonely." As dawn broke, Mark finally dared to look. The window was smeared with handprints, each one larger than the last, trailing away into the woods. When he went to the office to check out, the clerk didn't look up. She slid his receipt across the desk and whispered, "You're lucky. Most don't last the night." The second tale is called The Unregistered Guest. For decades, travelers have whispered about the Hollow Creek Motel, a squat, concrete structure off a forgotten highway. Its reputation for strange incidents and disappearances was known to those who paid attention, but desperation sometimes demands risk. Lena was driving cross-country, her phone dead, gas tank nearly empty, and the road behind her swallowed by a sudden, suffocating fog. She pulled into Hollow Creek, the parking lot desolate except for one battered sedan. The clerk, a sullen young man with a nervous twitch, handed her a room key and mumbled, "You'll be in room 9. Don't use the shower between 2 and 3 a.m. She nodded, too weary to protest. The room felt colder than the night outside, the wallpaper peeling as if trying to escape the walls. She settled onto the bed and, despite her unease, drifted into a shallow sleep. At exactly 2:14 a.m., Lena awoke to the sound of running water. The shower was on, steam curling beneath the bathroom door. She remembered the warning and froze. The sound grew louder, a harsh, choking rush, like water forced through blocked pipes. Then, a voice echoed softly, distorted by the water's hiss. "Help me, please." Lena's heart raced. She pressed herself against the headboard, eyes locked on the bathroom. The door trembled, and a wet, gurgling laugh echoed. Suddenly, the shower stopped. Silence. Then, something wet slithered beneath the door, a trail of black, oily water that crept across the floor toward her. She grabbed her bag and bolted. The hallway outside was impossibly long, the lights flickering and casting strange shadows. As she ran, she heard the voices of countless travelers calling from behind closed doors. Some begged, some wept, and some laughed. A hollow, endless laugh that followed her out into the fog. Lena never spoke of her night at Hollow Creek, but sometimes, in moments of quiet, she hears water running and voices whispering from behind closed doors. The third and final tale is called The Night Manager. There's a motel on the edge of a dying town, the Red Lantern. Locals say it's cursed, and even the bravest souls avoid its doors after sunset. But for travelers unaware, its faded sign and cheap rates are temptation enough. Adam, a salesman eager to make his morning meeting, checked in late, greeted by a night manager whose smile was too wide and whose eyes never seemed to blink. The man handed Adam his key, fingers lingering a moment too long. "Room 6, if you see anyone in the hallway after midnight, don't speak, just lock your door." Adam nodded, trying to dismiss the unease. The room was suffocatingly quiet, walls stained by old water damage. Outside, the wind howled, and Adam tried to sleep. Shortly after midnight, a soft knock rattled his door. He lay still, remembering the manager's warning. The knock grew louder, more insistent. Adam crept to the peephole and looked out. The hallway was empty, but he heard footsteps, slow, dragging, as if someone was reluctant to move. Then, a voice whispered from the other side of the door, "Let me in. I'm cold." Adam's skin crawled. He backed away, locking the door and wedging a chair beneath the handle. The voice grew shrill, almost desperate. Then silence fell. He waited, breath held, until morning broke. When Adam checked out, the night manager was gone. In his place was a tired-looking woman who avoided eye contact. She slid his receipt across the counter, her hands shaking. "Did you hear anything last night?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. Adam hesitated, then nodded. She looked up, eyes rimmed with exhaustion. Some guests never leave. Sometimes they want company. Adam left the Red Lantern behind, but the memory of that voice, soft, pleading, and impossibly cold, follows him into every dark hallway, every lonely motel, and every restless night. Now, as you settle into the comfort of your own bed, remember that motels are more than just places to rest. They are liminal spaces, crossroads between worlds, haunted by those who cannot move on, and watched over by things that crave the warmth of human fear. The next time you drive past a glowing vacancy sign in the dead of night, ask yourself what waits behind those doors, what whispers in the walls, beneath the hum of neon and the lull of distant highways. Sleep well if you can, and beware the night manager, the window with no view, and the voices behind the shower door. For in the world of sinister smiles, The most disturbing horrors are found where you least expect them, and the only thing more terrifying than what lurks in the dark is the knowledge that it might already be inside, waiting for you to close your eyes.